Good morning, everyone. It's about 2 a.m. my body clock time, so I just flew in this morning. But I think I'm still awake. So, Internet of Things. One thing we're not going to talk about is toasters that email you. I think this is one of the things that everyone's they hear Internet of Things, it's like, oh, way overhyped. Do not want to know about it. Really, I'm just going to start off by saying some of the useful things the Internet of Things can do, that connecting devices can do. And when oh, they are up. OK, cool. This is Electric Imp, which is a cute little imp. So the thing about Internet of Things, there's things and there's the Internet. And really, it's about the connections and the strength you can build with those connections. So really, for many things, the world is broken. The world is a very random place compared to the Internet. Vending machines run out of stock. Crops don't get watered. They die. Pipes leak. There are maintenance issues. And doors go unlocked. Security's not good. So these are some things that happen in the real world. Nobody is watching the real world so closely that they can actually take proper actions from these. And unless you're in commercial airplane maintenance, you are not actually looking for the early signs of these things. If there's a leak, there's usually a sign, there's a pressure drop, whatever. You can tell before something goes wrong. If you could get the data, get it somewhere you can analyze it, and actually look for trends. And this is a really, really early field because M2M has been doing this for a while, but never with the volumes of data. Think about IoT versus M2M. The cost of collecting the data is much, much lower. So these are things. The Internet knows stuff as well. And when I say Internet, I mean phones as well. So things the Internet knows which are useful for real things to know. Stuff like if there's surplus renewable energy on the grid. That can be great. If you have a water heater and you can take advantage of surplus energy, that's really good. Water is a great way of storing energy. You can fire up your water heater, bring the temperature up higher than you would normally when there's surplus energy and get it very cheap. Helps the electricity company, helps the consumer. If it's going to rain later that day, very good for irrigation systems. And there's actually an electric impact irrigation system which does this already. It plugs into all the weather APIs and actually works out if it's going to rain and whether stuff needs watering. If someone's coming home, someone's on their way home from work, the house can set the climate control or whatever necessary. I've been in America for too long now, so I think climate control, whereas actually it's just you turn the heating on in October and turn it off in May. And also the Internet knows a lot about cats. Not exactly sure how that affects the real world, but there may be something there. We're not sure yet. So obviously, connecting stuff, you put these things together, it's really good. Why isn't stuff already connected? So some of the problems with connected devices are the people who make devices don't really get networking. They don't get APIs. They don't get the challenges. Because there are a list of things you need to do and be really good at if you're a good product company. And they're all the things that people have been doing for hundreds of years, really. Anyone who's made stuff, they know their customers, they know how to build stuff, they know how to please their customers. The problem is that to do a good connected product, it's a slightly different skill set. And so you tend to find the companies that have done really good connected products have been networking companies. Sometimes they're great networking and awful products. People have probably bought this. You get ones like Nest, which did a great job of a product and the networking part, but often things end up like X10, and if anyone had X10, they'll know it's like an X10 light switch. Looks a bit like a light switch, but never actually works quite well like a light switch. And they don't have the basic product thing down, but they had connectivity. So there are different things. The challenges are that people who make products don't necessarily have the in-house expertise, and building that in every product company is a very hard thing to do. The next thing is how these things are going to talk. So there are a lot of people working on standards. If you've seen this one, this is pretty much says the IoT standard landscape right now. There's the All-Join Alliance, there's Open Internet Consortium, there's now Thread, there's all these other ones that are people trying to come up with a standard for things to talk to things. And it's usually oh, but we're going to do all local network, which is incredibly hard, non-observable problem unless you want to have a guy with a wireless sniffer sitting in your kitchen working out why your refrigerator is not talking to your cooker. It's not a really tractable problem. So Electric Imp looked at this and went, no, let's just use REST and JSON, and let's do it all in the cloud, because you can see what's happening, you can debug it remotely, and hey, it works. Which everyone here knows, API people know this, because you can iterate on this stuff, it's visible, there are loads of tools, you're not reinventing the wheel. So Electric Imp. Electric Imp was a company that was formed by myself and my co-founder in order to bring REST and JSON APIs to things. So we do that in a really interesting way. A lot of stuff on this slide. But really, what we do is we bring the internet to things. We do this in a way that is kind of original. No one has really done it like this before. We use virtual machines everywhere. One of the reasons for this is security. If I'm making a washing machine, the washing machine I sold 5 years ago, I'm probably not going to want to do OS patches on it if there's a Heartbleed type vulnerability. So what Electric Imp does is it separates the operating system and the application, even on a tiny embedded device the size of your fingernail. There's a VM, and Electric Imp as a company looks after the platform, so we look after the security because that's our job. We have the experts there. And the people who do the washing machine concentrate on the washing machine app, but they don't have to worry about security, key provisioning, da-da-da-da-da. The other thing we do is we have a VM in the cloud for every device. So every single device in the field has its own VM in the cloud. What this means is that you can do webby type things on an Amazon server where you've got like loads of resources and you're not running off AA batteries and that type of thing. And you can do the hardware specific stuff down on the hardware. This sort of split brain, I say like in America I say Marvin the paranoid android, he's got his brain in hyperspace somewhere. It's kind of like that. You have a tiny device running off AA batteries that will run for 3 years off 2 AA's, but actually it can leverage all of the cloud stuff to do data analysis, to talk to APIs, to send you messages with Twilio, whatever. Which is, it's kind of original and kind of nice. And it gives you loads of other great stuff like hardware independence because the chip's moving on really fast. One other thing I was going to mention, because David mentioned it in his plug for me, was how we actually get these things configured. What we do is we do it by blinking the phone of your screen, the screen of your phone. Basically, you hold your screen up to the device, and it just sends it optically, and we send the SSID and password and a nonce, so you do secure one-to-one provisioning for every device. When the device sees that, it connects to the cloud, a new VM is started, and everything starts running in a fraction of a second, which is kind of cool. But yeah, that's Electric Imp. If you want to know more about it, I will be around. But really interested to talk to anyone about connecting things. Thanks very much.